How's it going, everybody? Long time no see. Well, unless, of course, you're somebody who has been watching my other channels, which I doubt it, because I think most of you folks who watch these videos here, which is almost nobody, you're probably transplants from the Vlogginsons. I've since gone on and dedicated most of my time, most of my YouTube time, to a channel called Brad the DC Universe Geek. It enjoys, as far as I'm concerned, for a channel of that size, a satisfactory amount of views. I connect well enough with the audience, and it's something that I've just been passionate about my whole life. DC Comics, which I would argue, for those of you saying comic books aren't comics for kids, I would argue no, they're not for kids. Have you picked up a comic from DC Comics anytime lately? The concepts are not for children. What's happening in there is really not for children, and comic books never really were intended for children. Comic books as we know them were spawned out of the pulp magazines, which were always intended for adults. And the first major buyers of comic books, as in Superman magazine, for example, the Superman Action Comics, they were the servicemen overseas. And after World War II, they decided, well, sales are slumping. Let's try and continue selling these to kids, because kids did like to buy them. And that's when they cleaned things up and made things just a little bit more kid-friendly for a time. But after the Comics Code Authority was out the window, everything else went out the window, and comic books went back to being pretty much just for grown-ups. But I digress. The point is, comic books have been part of my life for my whole life. They're some of my earliest memories. Superman, Batman, the Justice League. So it's just so normal. It's just so natural to me that I would have a YouTube channel about something that I'm so comfortable with and that I'm so passionate about. So all of my hours go over there to that channel, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Although I will say there have been many times where I've thought I just need a break from this channel and I need to just do something else on YouTube, because what I do on that channel is so formulaic. It's so, like, I do a lot of reviewing figures and products and stuff like that. And when you review your products, there's a way that typically, especially in the figure community, that you have to do it a certain way. Otherwise, people get a little bit annoyed with you for missing certain parts in the process. And truth be known, I really enjoy that process. I like pulling the figure apart and looking at everything in the proper order, the packaging, the figure, the accessories, its articulation, how it compares to others in its scale, and then giving my final thoughts. I actually like that. That's one of my favorite kind of YouTube videos. I know it's not very entertaining for anyone who's not into that kind of thing, but for me, it truly is an art form. And yes, these are my socks. I haven't put them on yet, but I would like to branch out and do other videos. I started up another channel that was supposed to be, I could do pretty much anything I wanted as long as it was in geek culture. There was going to be commentary and fun stuff, and I was going to be reviewing all kinds of other products and figures that weren't DC Comics related. And that channel, because DC requires so much of my time, I still upload on it fairly regularly, but it has taken a backseat too. So that's a backseat. Now this is a channel that's taken a backseat to the Vlogginsons channel, which took a backseat to the other channel, which took a backseat. This is a backseat of a backseat of a backseat that you're watching a video on. I haven't uploaded a video on this channel in years. Years! Alright, I'm not saying that's going to change. Don't expect another one anytime soon. I might do one soon. I would like to rebrand this channel as a more edgy commentary channel, but the problem is I do not deal well with dealing with people online that just want to tell you how much they hate you. Some people, that is their YouTube shtick. I'm more about making people happy. And so I'm not really sure how I could even pull that off, considering it's not really part of my personality. I like to be edgy for a moment, and then I want everyone to be happy again. And that doesn't happen when you're someone who makes really edgy commentary content. So I feel like opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, but you should just keep yours private. Or at least me. I feel like my opinion's like my asshole. That's stupid. Anyway, I know I've talked for a long time, and that's because on this channel, I know that almost nobody's watching. So if you're watching this video, you're actually somebody who wants to hear what I had to say. So I'm going to finish off what I was saying. This is going to be a longer format video than videos I would usually post on any other of my channels. I want to talk about, number one, the fact that I've gained weight. Evidently, there's no denying that. I've became someone who is of the chubby variety again, and I'm teetering on the edge of needing my CPAP machine again because of gaining all of the weight back. How did that happen? I'm not really sure. I think it had something to do with food and self-control. Probably two of those things are very large in the equation. And then also the idea that once you've lost weight, once you have lost all that weight, unless you do what is necessary to keep it off, what happens is your body goes, right, he was dying. He was starving. So we had to use the fat stores and some of the muscle to keep us going. But he was dying, so we got to get better at storing food. Because your body doesn't know you're trying to lose weight on purpose. It just thinks you're dying. So it's hard to keep the same motivations for a lifestyle choice that requires me to be so active. I was working out so much to burn the extra calories. I had a very restricted diet, and I was trying to also eat as healthy as I could while not overeating anything. And I'll admit, it was probably a healthier lifestyle. I mean, my knees didn't hurt then, my knees hurt now. I didn't have breasts. I've definitely got breasts now from being fat. Oh, and probably all the beer I drink has also added to it. Yeah, that's something else about me. I've recently took up a lot of beer drinking in the last 2 years. And I always liked my beer, but something kind of happened. A switch happened in my head where, you know what it was? You know, most people drink beer and they're like, I got my brand that I drink and that's it. And most people are too scared to try anything new because they don't want to waste their money. Well, my beer store, my fantastic beer store, is like a candy store where you can walk in and all of the different flavors of beer in their tall can varieties are just sitting on the shelf waiting for you to pick them up and buy them. It is literally like a beer candy store for me. That's exactly how I feel about it. And my best friend also likes to drink a lot too. We probably don't help each other with that, but you know, beers of a feather flock together. So basically every time I would get beer, I would get the beer that I knew, and I would try one thing new every single time. And you have no idea how many awesome flavors of beer there are out there. I'm not even saying getting the beers that are made by the artisan people in funny sweaters who want to do the art house beers. I'm talking about just so many different beers from Europe, from the UK, you know, just beers all from that side of the world. They've been making beer a lot longer than we have here. And they're so much better at it, and there's so much more flavor. People just assume that if it's not something like one of the big names, that it must taste like garbage. And that's because people are used to trash garbage beer like Molson Canadian and Labatt and just generics and Coors Light. None of those beers have any flavor. And yes, it is possible to have a beer with tons and tons of delicious flavor without it being overpowering. You just have to try the right beers that match your taste buds. Anyway, so because of that, I now have like 30 different favorite flavors of beer, not to mention all the other ones that I like that just aren't my favorite. So for me, it's like, I don't know, you like candy? You like chocolate? You like something that you like to eat? Well, that's what it is like with beer for me. I like it. I crave it because I enjoy the flavor and the taste of it going down. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that hasn't been good for my physique either, because beer is just nothing but empty liquid calories that go here and apparently help you grow breasts or something like that. I mean, aside from the fat, apparently there's something in the beer that there's some kind of estrogen or something like that. Either way, I need to make some kind of a New Year's resolution. Maybe that's why I'm here. Yes, we'll say that's why I'm here. I need to make a New Year's resolution. I, as of this day, resolve to eat more healthy and possibly drink less beer. Yeah. Now, okay, listen, I said possibly because I actually cut my drinking down a lot. Like when COVID happened, I was going through a lot of beer. Like a lot of beer. Like I wasn't getting hammered or nothing like that unless I was getting hammered, but I would have a beer at like, well, this is shameful, like 10:30, 11 in the morning, and then I would have another one at like 1, and then at like 3 or 4. So I wasn't drunk. I was just drinking it like you would drink Coke Zero or whatever, except for this was not zero. This was many, many, many calories. So I promise myself and you that I will try to drink less beer, because currently I'm only drinking on the weekends usually. And it's only like 4 beers on the weekend, maybe 6 spread over 2 days. So I will try to drink even less beer than that. I need to get more active. I used to watch shows and then get active, and I used to walk in the morning with the dog, and I used to walk in the evening with the dog. Margaret and I would both go out, and I was getting like anywhere from 20 to 30,000 steps a day. Some days I'd even hit 40. Now I'm lucky if I hit 10 or 12. It's that bad. And I'm 40. So now everything hurts. And it shouldn't. It probably hurts because I'm gaining weight. Anyway, I hope your new year I hope your 2021 is better than your 2020, because I know that my 2020 could have been a lot better. I know a lot of other people's 2020 could have certainly been a lot better. I mean, some people aren't even alive anymore. Shit. That sucks to the max. So let's just hope that 2021 is less of a dumpster fire than 2020 was. Yeah, that's also a thing. Okay. Bye for now.